What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 3 of the Founder Academy, the Pay to Glory series for casual FIFA fans. So, what a difference a weekend makes. Our team is in almost a completely different state than where we left off in episode 2. How did this happen, you ask? Well, I didn't plan on it. It just kind of happened. So, La Liga team of the season came out on Friday. We looked at some of the players, and I was like, boy, I'd love to try some of these guys. Then SBCs came out, and I would love to try some of them. We started tinkering with the team, and now almost half of the team has been swapped. Also, we ended up making one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in any FIFA, which you guys are going to see in this video. It was devastating, and that led to one of the biggest pack openings I've ever done, where I packed some of the biggest players I've ever packed. So it was just a crazy weekend. So in this video, you guys are going to see the highlights of the weekend, all condensed into one video. From last Thursday evening to this Monday morning, there was some crazy stuff that happened, and now the team's in a totally different state. So before we jump into all of that, if you guys could like the video down below and comment any questions you guys have for me or any questions you guys have for the series in general. Also, if you haven't already, please follow the channel. I greatly appreciate your support. So let's just jump into it. So how did this all begin, you guys ask? Well, on your screen right now, you're looking at 97 rated prime icon Diego Maradona. Now, as you guys may or may not know, Diego Maradona is one of my favorite players of all time. He is the GOAT in my eyes. So this Mexico 86 version, the 97 rated version, for me has always been like the holy grail card for me. He was always really highly priced. I could never afford him, but he's dropped down with the market crash. So he was up for about 2.3 roughly, somewhere in there. And on Thursday evening, someone posted one for 2,050,000 fresh. Now, fresh cards are very rare, especially with icons. And to get one that's the lowest priced one on the market is very, very rare. So I was scrambling. I was like, how am I going to get this? There's about 48 minutes left with this card. And I had about 1.1 million. Ignore the coins in the top corner because that's actually done after the fact, this recording. But this card was the one that I saw. I was like, how am I going to get this into my club? So at 1.1, I was like, you know what? If I sell maybe like Kyle Walker and Clarence Seedorf, I might be able to get that 2 million range. So I thought, I don't have time to grind away and like sell all these low-rated cards. I just got to get rid of high-value players. So Messi's not going anywhere. Let's get rid of our next highest priced player, which was Clarence Seedorf. So I post Clarence Seedorf on the market. However, I was in such a rush. He was going for about 580K. I ended up posting him for 380. And I was just devastated. I sat there just staring at the screen after this because it instantly sold. And I saw my coins just rocket up. And I was just like, what happened? I was at like 1.4 million. And I was like, what? How did this happen? Then I went and looked, and I sold him 200K under his value because I was in such a hurry. Such a stupid move. I've never done that ever. I can't even think of a time in history where I've posted a card incorrectly. I always see these in the forums and Reddit and Twitter and stuff, and you kind of giggle to yourself, oh my god, some guy forgot to put a 0. It's the first time it ever happened to me, and I was just devastated because not only am I not going to be able to get Maradona now, but now I've sold this card way under value, and I was like, what am I going to do? So I sat there beating myself up for about 5 minutes. I literally just stared at my screen blankly. My stomach had dropped, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if this was just like punishment to myself, but I'm like, I'm going to put FIFA points on. Maybe I can get the 200K back. I'll just get lucky. So we put this on. We put FIFA points on, and I started packing players. Now, the packs that were in the market at this time were not rare player packs. They were not 100K packs. They were not 125K packs. They were just mega packs and prime gold players. Now, I have never in my life, to the best of my knowledge anyway, packed anybody really that good from prime gold player packs. There's only 6 rares. I barely pack anything good from like 200 or 100K packs or 125K packs, let alone any of these prime gold players. So I started opening them up, and then I think on the second or third pack, this comes up. Spanish flag, right wing, Adama Traore. Now, I looked at this card, and I was just completely relieved. It was like just a wave of relief came over my body when I saw this, because I was just like, this was about a 250K card at the time, I think, if not more, and I was like, that basically covered the cost of the mistake. Now, I'm only opening these packs because of what I did with Clarence Seedorf, so I viewed it as, I don't know if it was karma or what, but I was just like, you know what, even though I paid hard-earned money for it, at least I packed something that's going to get me back to where I need to be. So I ended up selling that card, and we were back in the running. Now, unfortunately, during all of this time I'd spent sitting there humming and hawing, the Maradona expired, and I was like, whatever. I wasn't even that concerned about it. I was more concerned about the Seedorf thing. So even though the Maradona expired, at least I had my coins back. So we continued the pack opening here. Nothing too crazy came up, but you guys are going to see some other big names come up. So this pack opening, even though it wasn't really necessarily like what I would consider the best valued packs, they just had some really good cards in. So you guys are going to see those coming up. So what am I going to do now? I don't have Maradona in the squad. What do I actually want to accomplish? Like, what do I want to use these coins for? I'm going to sell the Adama Traore for obvious reasons, not only for the coins, but also because we packed him in our Reds a week ago, excuse me, and we just don't need him in the squad. Now, Adama Traore has been a really, really good card for me. I thought he was going to be really clunky. I thought he was going to be just not a very usable card, but he's actually been an absolute beast. His reactions are a little low, but overall, I actually like the card. I think he's really quick. He's super rapid. He's big. He's strong. He's just one of those guys that's got a better shot and better skill stats than I actually thought. So if you guys are thinking about putting a team that would include a winger, I would highly recommend Adama Traore. Right now, he is a meta card. Like, you usually get guys that are fast and have the skill set, but to get a guy who's fast, has those skill stats, and is like that big, very, very rare. So I definitely recommend going out and getting him. He's an end game player at this stage. Definitely somebody that you guys should check out. So we're back in the running here. Maradona's expired. I'm starting to think, well, what am I going to do with these coins? Like, my plan originally still was to have Messi up top, Griezmann is the other striker, and then Maradona in behind him. However, I need to wait for a Maradona to come on the market. Unfortunately, I don't think that guy ever reposted that Maradona, or maybe I don't think it's sold because it was in my actual transfer targets and my watch list for a really long time, and I never saw one, and I've been checking quite diligently. But the more I looked at it, the more I was thinking, do I really want Maradona? Like, I love Messi, but the biggest issue that I've had with the striker Messi card was that he had 81 stamina. So I was having issues with the stamina on the baby Maradona, and he had, I think it was like 80 stamina already. The prime moments, or the prime icon one, had like 78 stamina. So I was like, oh my god, like I can't use this card. So as we continue this pack opening, my thoughts are racing, and then next thing you know, this card comes out. Andy Robertson's team of the season. I was just like, oh my god, like what the hell? I haven't packed one single EPL team this season. Now, I'd packed some other leagues. I'd packed like a bunch of low-level English, like League 3 and League 2 cards, but nothing from the Premier League. And even though I was like on Twitter ranting about it, people were like, at least you packed a team of the season, but they were like discards. Like, I would rather get a shadow card than get those like discardable team of the season like EFL ones. They were just useless. Nobody buys them. There's a zillion on the market. No offense to any of the players, but like honestly, you're not gonna use these guys unless you've got like an all English squad and like are putting like a right back. But there's so many better right backs that are like English in the squad. If that's your team, if you're building an England team, you could probably afford Trippier or Trent Alexander-Arnold or something like that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we ended up packing Andy Robertson. So now I'm in the green. Now I'm like way over. So I was really excited by that. He was going for about 350K, somewhere in there. So now we're at like just over 600K profit from this pack opening, plus all the other stuff that we could sell off, which wasn't a whole lot. You know, prime gold players packs aren't really that profitable. If you don't get lucky and get one of those players, you're probably not really packing too much. I don't think I got anybody else in those packs. But Andy Robertson, huge pull. Now, I had no intention of using Andy Robertson. We're using David Alaba at left back, and even though Andy Robertson's much better, you know, I'm still not going to use him. I'm just going to sell him off. So I was thinking, you know what? I'm all happy with this. And then this comes out. I wasn't even paying attention to this pack. Now, I was sitting there tooling my team. I was just kind of opening packs while I wasn't really paying attention. I was watching streams and stuff like that. And then I just had the pack open. I didn't even see the flares, didn't do anything. And then when I looked back at my screen, I saw, oh my gosh, and Trent Alexander-Arnold just sitting there doing nothing. Now, I wish I would have sold this card a little bit earlier, in all fairness. He actually ended up sitting in my squad for a little while. I ended up putting an anchor on him. I originally was going to have Jordan Henderson, him, and then Kyle Walker create this like strong triangle in the bottom left of my team, or the bottom right of my team, excuse me. And then we just didn't end up doing it because, as you guys are going to see with my end team, there was a couple other pieces that I needed to put together. So he never got a run in. And then as my team evolved and a couple other players started to come in, I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'll sell this guy because I do have Kieran Trippier. He is English. He is a right back. Even though he's from a different league, I can fit him in. And this is about 350, 400K. I think I ended up selling him for 370, somewhere in there. So he ended up being a very, very valuable asset for us that I just sold. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit on the coins and then we're just going to build the team all at once. So 3 team of the seasons, guys. I was like over the moon. I had packed none before this. I had opened ultimate packs. I had opened 100K packs. I had opened 50K packs. Nothing. And then we ended up getting 3 from 2 prime gold players packs and a mega pack. Like, how crazy is that? Like, mega packs of all things. I don't pack anything in mega packs, let alone team of the season Trent Alexander-Arnold. So I was just over the moon. Then when we got this pack, I was just like, oh my gosh, Calvin Phillips, how good would he have been? But, you know, can't be too greedy. How much can you ask for? So 3 EPL team of the seasons. Probably the biggest pack run I've ever gone on, especially for those packs. But 3 team of the seasons, like after packing none, I was totally over the moon. So the only downside to like selling these cards is now I got to figure out a way to fit Jordan Henderson in. So the team that I'm looking at right now, I'm going to foreshadow this a little bit. If you've gotten this far in the video, you're probably going to stick it out till the end. But Jordan Henderson, unfortunately, is going to come out of the team. So he's going to come back in as a reserve. I'm just looking at my squad right now. He's going to come in off the bench if the player that we show you guys at the end of the video ends up getting a little bit tired, or if I need to replace one of my midfielders. Jordan Henderson is a great super sub. So him and Adama coming off the bench, I'm really happy with that. I think that's going to be more than fine. I think my squad as a starting squad is going to be an absolute B squad. So to have Jordan Henderson come off, he was actually really good when I used him. I don't know if you saw too much of him from episode 2. You'll probably see him more coming off the bench. I was using Adama as like a super sub for Griezmann because Griezmann wasn't really doing the job as like a striker. So, you know, again, a little foreshadowing, we're going to move Griezmann back down to cam. So as a striker, I was getting really frustrated with him. I kept subbing him off and bringing him Adama on. So same thing with Henderson. If any of our midfielders aren't pulling their weight, I'm going to pull them off and I'm going to throw Henderson on. He's big, he's strong, he's got a physical presence, and even though I don't love Liverpool, sorry Liverpool fans, Jordan Henderson is just like a bossy player in this game. They've jacked up his stats, and he is a perfect CDM. So everything that you guys need is in that card. He's a little bit overpriced. I think you could, if you're not obsessed with Liverpool, if you're not obsessed with like having an EPL team or like just British players in general, I would actually recommend probably getting other players. I think there's faster, bigger, stronger guys, even though all his stats are pretty well rounded. He's about 600K, and at this stage in FIFA you can get some really big cards for 600K, and if you have 600K to spend on a team of the season, you probably have enough that you can probably go a little bit higher and get to the 7, 8, 900K mark. Like, it's late in the year, a lot of guys have a lot of disposable coins that they can use on players that they want. Hendo's okay, he's not great. I wouldn't recommend him. I've seen so many people open up packs and get 82 is their highest rated player, 83 is their highest rated player, and like 100K packs, 125K packs. It's just totally disheartening. And for the most part, when I've put FIFA points on earlier in the year, or even at the first half of like the team of the season, when I think I put on some FIFA points for the EPL. It's the only ones that I put on before this. I got nothing, like absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? Like, they're terrible value. So I do not recommend putting money into that game unless you actually have disposable income that you recommended. Thankfully, I'm in a fortunate position where I can do that, but I'm gonna try to not do it as much as possible, just because FIFA points, even though in this case they got me like well over what I expected, I just think that, you know, you're just essentially wasting money. And even though people say it's easy to make money and like make coins in this game, I don't necessarily agree with that. But you can build teams for budget really easily without having to grind the game, without having to go into FUT champs, without having to go crazy and, you know, play the game 12 hours a day and buy and sell and trade. You can play it very casually, which I'm hoping to show you guys in this series. I know that kind of counterbalances itself considering I put FIFA points on, but you know, I do want to do a Road to Glory series for FIFA 21 where I don't put any money on. I don't sit there grinding the game, and I'm going to show you that just being smart with your coins, you can do some pretty awesome things, and you can build some really cool teams. Now, the team that I'm building right now, you guys have seen, have had FIFA points put onto it, have done some trading, have played FUT Champs only once, but I did technically play it. But you don't need to do all that in order to get a cool team that you're happy playing with. John Shepard, sorry, you're going in the bin there, buddy. But yeah, like the team that I'm at right now, or the place that I'm at right now with my FIFA team, I'm more than happy if this is how I finish the game. It's realistically not going to be the team that I'm going to end up with. I'm probably going to end up packing some other players, but I don't like plan on grinding the game out for FUT Champs rewards just so I can get millions of other coins. This team is an endgame team. The team that I'm looking at right now that you guys are going to see at the end of this video, it's an endgame team. I'm really happy with them. I don't need to upgrade them. I'm just going to tinker for the sake of tinkering and change some players just for the sake of keeping this series entertaining. But you're not going to see like me sit there killing myself in FUT Champs. Last week when I played FUT Champs, I finished 14 and 13 or something like that, even though a couple of the games I just kind of threw away because I wasn't about to waste time doing it. It was the worst experience in my life. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't have fun playing it because there's a stress of needing to win. Now, if you're one of these types that just wants to play the most competitive FIFA as possible, I get it, but that's not me, man. Like, this is a series that I just did to show you guys that you can play this game casually and not kill yourself to do it and not have to care, and not every game has to be sweat. Even though a lot of the games are sweaty and a lot of the online needs tinkering, I just don't think that you need to take it as seriously as some people do. Every series that I've seen that's a Road to Glory, like, no offense to anybody, but like a lot of those series, these guys are like grinding away to get elite rewards. And let's be honest, a lot of people aren't elite players. It's great for their series. It's great for content. There's a lot of people that follow these series that are elite players. They are gold 1 or even silver 1. But a lot of the people that follow it don't even get, silver 3. They don't get players that they think are going to be, worth 2 million coins, 3 million coins. Like, they just are playing very humble teams, and they've got gold rares in their final team. They've got FUTMIS SBCs that finish in their end game, or their end game teams. Like, they're not massive FIFA freaks that just play all the time. So I'm trying to like change my mentality, get away from like buying big teams that can compete with the best players, because I'm not one of those guys anymore. Like, I don't play this to the point that, my fingers go raw, and I've played 27 games. Like, 30 games in a weekend, that's a lot of games of FIFA for me. And personally, like, I just think my thumb was hurting, my eyes were strained by playing this, and you're only playing like 10 games a day. You know what I mean? And maybe that's just my old man. I'm not sitting here trying to sound like an old man here, but it's like, that's a lot of FIFA. And then you add on, people are playing even more than that, right? So not everybody's like a 21-year-old kid that can just play like 50 games of FIFA in a weekend. For me, I just want to play it casually. I want to go on. I want to play the games. I want to have some cool cards. I don't need to have like a total team of the season endgame team, even though my team is going to end up looking like that by the end of the series. My goal for like the Road to Glory for next year is going to be, what is like a realistic team that's cheap enough but you can compete with them. So anyway, that was my kind of spiel on where I want to take this series. This one right now, where I want to go with this is just like, we've got the coins, let's enjoy them, let's see out FIFA 20, and let's try out players and try playing with like new cards. Are these SBCs worth doing? Are some of these players worth getting if you have some coins sitting in your club? Like, what is good value players? Like, a good example is Thiago. Thiago's like 100k. For me, he's been one of the best team of the seasons you can get. There's a lot of team of the seasons that are very, very like good value. They're under 100k. Everyone just looks at like the pace. They all want Messi. They all want Ronaldo. Everybody wants like Sergio Aguero, but realistically, you don't need all those guys. Like, I love Thiago. I love playing with Thiago. Like, I don't plan on him going anywhere. I might replace him with a Bayern player if there's one that comes up that's cheap enough. But if this guy finishes the series in that left center mid spot for me, I'm totally fine with it, because he, even though he's not like the fastest card in the world, he's a great card. Like, I just think he's incredible. Another card is like the Mauro Icardi. Like, I did him because I like Mauro Icardi, but like, again, if I had to play with him, I would play with him. He's not meta, he's not going to get me top 100, but I'm totally fine with it. I'm just good with where like those players are, and if I have to use them, I'm going to use them, because I've said this before, I like using cards that I want to play with. Anyway, back to the video itself. I was kind of rambling a little bit there, but what are we doing here? Like, why are you looking at Ansu Fati is probably a question that you're asking yourself. Like, why did you do this card? Well, what I'm going to end up doing with the team is, when I saw Lionel Messi's Team of the Season card come out, I saw the 99 rated. He was going for about 3.5 million. I'm hoping that he drops down to just under 3. If he gets to like 2.9, that's kind of where my goal is with that Lionel Messi. But when I looked at that card, even though I didn't want to give up the striker card, I was like, you know what? I love having the striker. I love having him centrally. I want to be able to use my team like default out of balance, or off the balance, like custom tactic, I guess. I wanted to have them set as a 4-1-2-1-2, and I didn't want to have like Messi as a winger. I just looked at the stats and I was like, you know what? This Messi, the striker Messi's been great for me, but this one is like 99 almost everything. Like, can we get this card? And when I saw that he was basically achievable, I was at about 3 million already. I was gonna sell that team of this, or that striker Messi, for about 2 million. I think he's at 2 million now. I can't remember what we ended up selling them for. Like, let's say 2.1 or whatever. And then I can go and buy Team of the Season Messi and build him into a team. Then when we saw the Ansu Fati, the timing couldn't have been any better. This was like perfect timing for me. I was looking at Antoine Griezmann. I was like, do I have to get Griezmann, the left winger, in order to make this work? How am I going to tie all these guys together? And then literally within probably a half an hour, that Ansu Fati got announced. And I was like, looking at reviews, humming and hawing. I was like, this card could be good, but is he just going to look good? Is he not going to play very well? Because he's going to play striker up top with my Lionel Messi. Like, you know, I need somebody that can contribute. I'm going to drop the Griezmann down to a cam, and then I'm going to play Messi and Ansu Fati as my 2 strikers. And then the other card that I want to get is Frankie de Jong, Team of the Season. He is going really cheap. He's about like 800k. He's probably going to be a little bit lower now that the weekend's done. In order to fit all this stuff together, I'm going to need to pick up Saul Niguez, the SBC. He's going to tie it all together. You guys are going to see the team at the very end. And then the other card that I want to bring in is that Team of the Season Sergio Ramos. So that card looks absolutely endgame. Its price has dropped only because so many people have the right back version. Glad I didn't do that now. And now I can get him as a center back partnered with Boateng. I liked Kyle Walker a lot. However, the idea of like Team of the Season Sergio Ramos with Jerome Boateng's flashback card, like, oh, I'm salivating at the idea. I was actually originally thinking about Prime Moments Cannavaro, but he's more expensive. I guess it just because he is a Prime Icon Moments. But, you know, when I looked at that Sergio Ramos, I was like, the guy's basically got 90 pace and his defensive stats are all maxed out. And every time I've used Sergio Ramos in the past in any other FIFA, he's been absolutely monstrous. So this is a very, very cheap card considering the stats you're getting. So that team looks very good to me. It's basically a La Liga team with a Bundesliga triangle in that back corner. We did have a couple of FIFA points left over after our first pack opening, so again I ended up putting a couple just to round it off and get a couple 100k packs. We didn't pack really anything there. We ended up picking up Harry Kane, who's going to be okay. I ended up using him for one of the objectives for Mariano, but he really wasn't, you know, that useful. I'm going to end up selling him off or using him in an SBC. He's really just a card just to have in there. As you guys are seeing here, I'm not going to show you the full game. This is just the very end of me playing the Mariano squad, squad battles objective card. So it's very easy to get. You just have to go and score like a goal and an assist with a striker of whatever physicality, and then score a finesse with somebody with 5-star weak foot or whatever it was. And then the final one, all you have to do is like, I think, score 3 goals with a La Liga player, I think, on professional, which was very easy. So as you guys saw, we ended up beating the computer like 16-0 or something like that. So just, you know, get those out of the way, and ended up getting this card, this Mariano card, which was quite a good card to get considering how quickly I was able to do it. I think it took me like an hour or two, or no, it probably took longer than that. It probably took about 2-3 hours maybe to do it, just because you have to play about, I don't know, 12 games of FIFA, somewhere in there. But, you know, to get a free card like that out of squad battles, I'm really excited for. So that's a really good value card. He's going to be a good one coming off the bench, even though right now he's actually on the reserves for the team. You know, how can you complain about a free card that you get from squad battles? So the season objectives, we're working our way through. I really want to get that Mario Götze. He's a card that I would like to kind of just bring in as a not a replacement for Thiago, but I can kind of swap them in and out just from fitness standpoint. And I just want to try Mario Götze's card. I've liked Mario Götze in the past in terms of his playability. Last couple of years he hasn't really been good, but when they've had flashbacks or when he was in his prime, that's when that card was really useful. So what you guys are seeing now is just the very end of the video here. I'm showing you guys that we sold off Ederson, we sold off Kyle Walker, and we sold off that Trent Alexander-Arnold team of the season. Bit of a long one today, 27 minutes here, so I apologize for the length, but it is going to be us capping this off, and then I'm going to show you what the team is going to look like at the very end here. So just going through a lot of this stuff, just so you guys can see, like, with these lower valued players, I do recommend posting them up for their buy now price, because you are going to lose some of them. But I was being lazy. I just put them up for whatever bin and let people bid on them. But this is going to be what the team's going to look like. Ansu Fati and Messi are going to play at the top of a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. Griezmann's going to move down to that cam position. We're going to have Frankie de Jong and Thiago as the 2 center mids. Saul is going to play CDM, and then all those other cards are going to be the back line. So that's going to be the end of the episode, guys. Until next time, take care. Peace.